What is up, YouTube? Working on the F-150 today, 2007 SLT. If you see my other videos, I worked on this car because the front right side, the passenger side caliper, the brakes were gone and the rotors were shot. It looks like it was stuck because the other side didn't have that problem, and I was completely going on one side, had like maybe quarter to an eighth of an inch of pads on the other side. So did some troubleshooting, nothing is working, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace the entire caliper assembly. Got me a new set here. Came with the bracket, the sliding, everything. I was expecting to mess around and have to replace parts, but this came entire unit, so I don't have to do any of the extra work. Remove your lug nuts. They're gonna be 21 millimeter, 5 of them to remove. Now with the wheel out of the way, we're gonna remove. We gotta get the shoe pads out of there. So we're gonna go ahead and undo the brake line from the back here. That looks like a 15 mil. And I'm gonna try to elevate that hose, maybe somewhere up here to the upper control arm, to try to keep it from leaking a lot. I do have the reservoir cap on to try to prevent gravity. Hopefully lock it so it doesn't get a lot of air. Then we're gonna remove the bracket bolts, one here and one at the bottom. I think they're 18 millimeter, and remove the whole unit. Whole unit comes out. Install the new one, bleed it, and that will be the end of the job. Not too hard of a job. Just gotta be careful here, making sure you don't break any of the lines, and that everything is properly installed. All right, let's get to it. All right, that brake light bolt was 14 millimeter. Comes right off of there. We got some fluid in the caliper. Then I brought it up, wrapped it with a towel, a rag, and hung it up high, hoping to prevent a lot of brake fluid loss. So now, like I said, the 18 mils right here, 1 and 2 for the bracket. The bracket comes out entirely, and then you can get your brake pads out and on with the new caliper. So in order to get your pads out, I did forget that you see those clips at the very back there. They pinch the pads out, they put force towards the outside so they don't try to like keep them separated from sticking, or keep them from sticking. So you might have to go ahead and remove one of the 14s and loosen the other one for where they mount to, so you can open it up and get your pads out. You can do that while they're on there, but that puts pressure on the hose. So if you're gonna remove the whole thing, you can do it when the caliper is off, and you just slide it. You'll take this bolt out and then bring it over this way. Once this bolt is out, then you can loosen up the second bolt. And now you can take your caliper from up here, the back side of it, and move it up. It'll separate from here, exposing your pads just like that. All right, make sure you keep your clips. I don't have new ones. And your pads off to the side. And keep your bolts for the new one. This goes to the garbage. All right, my new caliper came with all new clips, crush washers, new bolt for the brake line, and new mounting brackets for the shoe pads and everything else. So we're gonna probably keep this clip just in case of a pinch, we need it. Everything else we can get rid of. All right, so I got the new brackets for the pads installed. There's this little tabs you see right there. You gotta bend them inwards, so they gotta go bent this way and downward, so they can secure against the mounting portion there on the top and bottom. All right, so once you have everything where it needs to be with your brackets, you gotta make sure that, so if you look at the bend of that front portion of what I'm holding here, it goes backwards, which if you look at the brake in the back, the rotor, you can see that it matches the curve towards the back. So make sure your pads are installed the same way, and not so you don't have difficulties getting them in. So that front, that up vertical by my thumb right here, you see that curve there that matches the curve back here on the rotor. It should match the backside of your pad as well. All right, so I got my pads installed. As you can see here, the curve matches this curve here. I put a little grease inside there on the tracks, so it did have some from when I sold it on the other one. Then I'm gonna put my clips on there, and then mount the bracket onto the knuckle, and then hook up the line, and that'll be it. All right, make sure when you put your clips on the back of the pads that they face downward or into each other. That's the only way they're gonna fit, and then you're gonna close your caliper. Put your nuts on the sliding pins. They're gonna be 25 pounds of torque for this one and this one up here. Right now I got my caliper on the knuckle. 18mm bolts are started, not tightening yet. Remember, they're gonna be 48 pounds. I'm sorry, 148 pounds for the big ones here. Then I'm gonna hook up my line. It's gonna be a crush washer. Remove this to fit the line there, crush washer. Then the fitting for the brake, another crush washer, and the through bolt, which I got a new one as well. All right, everything is buttoned up. 25 pounds, 148 pounds in the back. I'm ready to connect my hose. Remember, I gotta remove this cover. It goes right on there. All right, so everything, it's hose, brake line is back. Again, there's a crush washer before the line and one after. So I put one on the bolt, put it through, put another one, slap it on, held it against. Give me some room here to bleed, so I had to square up this piece here by pulling on the hose a little bit. I did notice there the bolt had a hole in it, and I for some reason I thought it would be big enough here for the brake fluid to circulate through and go through the hole in order to be delivered to the caliper. If that's correct, somebody can correct me or not. But what I did is I marked my bolt with a permanent marker where the hole is, and then I noticed that it goes to the top, so I marked it and I tied it until I got to that position, so I know that the line is actually the line and the hole are lined up and the fluid is getting through the bolt, being delivered to the caliper. Prior to that, I took a syringe and some DOT3 and fill my caliper as much as I can, so now when I go to bleed it, it's not as much work. So now I'm gonna get somebody to press on the brake on the other side, give it a couple pumps, hold it, crank this open. That's gonna let your air out, and you're gonna do that, then close it, then have him pump again, open it again until you see no more air coming through. Then you can close it up and you're done bleeding. Then once you get that done, get your wheel back on, put your lug nuts back on, tighten them up to 150 foot-pounds for the lug nuts on the tire, and that's the job. Alright, so I got done with my bleeding process. Again, I took a hose to the nipple here and fed that to a bucket, a cup, and you're gonna have somebody pump on the brakes until it gets stiff. Crank that loose. So you're gonna put a 10 millimeter through the hose. When they have pressure on it, keep their foot on the brake. You're gonna open that up. Ideally, you want to see whether there's bubbles coming out or not, or it's consistent fluid. Once the pedal gets to the bottom of the floor, you're gonna close that. Repeat it again. Pump, hold, open it up. When you don't see any more air coming through, you can close that up and you're good to go. Make sure you go to the reservoir and top it off, and then put your tire back on, and you're good to go driving.